Get it. Urban. Yo, how you doing? Long time no see. Long time no see. Good to have you back. Good to have you back. What you been up to? All right. I'm gonna start the live, all right? So, I'm gonna start out with this, which is we got to talk about what's happening in today's world where, it's nothing but noise and a lot of competition between just a lot of people. And if you think about it like this from this standpoint, most men they try to stand out by showing off. Um, but the truth is that women aren't drawn to the most loudest guy in the room. They're drawn to the most quiet guy that has a lot of strength. In other words, masculinity. So, what actually makes a real man stand out in a crowded world? Well, I'm going to be talking about that today. And if you're new here, my name is Mitchell. I'm a relationship coach. And in today's live video, I'll be talking about what makes a real man stand out in a crowded world. All right, so let's get right into it. The first one is you get value as you achieve something difficult in life. All right. You get value as you achieve something difficult in life. So true value isn't given. It is something that you have to be earned. As men, we are losing the battle. Some of us. It's earned. So when you push through something difficult, whether it's building a skill or starting a business, or even just showing up for yourself consistently, you grow confidence that you can't fake. You can't fake this confidence because it's in you. It's innate now. And so you grow this confidence that you can't fake. And women, they feel that type of energy. It's something that they sense and they know. And the more consistent you are, the more genuine you are to it. It's not something that you could fake or you don't need to fake. So in other words, it's not about bragging. It's about who you become through this struggle. Now, a man's value does not come from taking shortcuts, and there's no such thing as shortcuts, or just being stuck in the comfort zone. And when you take on something difficult, like I mentioned earlier about building a business, mastering a skill, or even facing your own fears, you come out different. You come out different as a person. The resilience shows in how you carry yourself. I've been telling everyone about being overconfident is a good thing. Am I wrong? There's a difference. So when I've been telling everyone about being overconfident. Well, I think there's a difference between arrogance and confidence. And arrogance is something that you don't really possess. I mean, arrogance is something that you don't really possess that type of confidence, but it comes out as insecurity, which kind of leads to people that are insecure or that are arrogant. It's that fake type of confidence, and the key thing is it's not consistent. It's not consistent to who they are, or in other words, they are consistently inconsistent, where they're constantly trying to seek for validation. They need that approval from other people in order to feel worthy. Whereas a confident, genuine person, they just feel confident. They don't need another person's approval. And if other people see it, great. And if they don't see it, then it still does not faze them. It doesn't bother them. But they still move through life with purpose, and they know exactly where they want to go. And so I think there's the biggest difference between those two. So I feel like these days and age, if men trying to talk to women, they think like we're after them. I mean, it really depends on how you come off, right? So it really depends on your intentions. So if let's just say you're out and about and you're with your friends and you're just trying to have a good time. You're just trying to have a good time, and then you see someone that's attractive and you're like, shit, I would like to get to know this person. I don't see anything wrong with that. You should definitely go for what you want. And that's really what masculinity is about. Going after what you want, taking risk, and, being unapologetic about it. And that's the difference between doing it out of arrogance. Whereas it's like, yeah, I could get this person. It's like, no, it's like you go after what you want. You're intentional about it. And you let her know right off the bat that you're interested in getting to know her a little bit more. So inviting her out to like a coffee date or whatever, just to sit down and get to know her. That's important. So anyways, a man's value, it doesn't come from shortcuts, right? When you take on something difficult, like I mentioned before, it's about, building yourself. You come out different and you carry yourself differently. So if you think about it, working on your physical body, like that's the easiest and quickest way to really build your self-confidence, especially if you never had that type of body before and you're like, shit, I don't know. And you've seen other people do it, right? So even if you don't believe in it in the beginning, the whole idea of this fake it till you make it idea is so that eventually you make it and you no longer need to fake it. And that is the beauty of that. But too many people, they carry it on for too long and they're constantly trying to fake something that's not really truly them. And that it becomes exhausting. It becomes exhausting. It's not genuine. And it's like they always feel like they have to put on a show in order to get some sort of attention. And, real men, they don't need that type of attention. It just comes naturally. You are who you are and you move through the world in order to get some. Pretty much, right? Pretty much. So, anyways, working on your physical body, right? That's the easiest and quickest way. And then, look, just based off these statistics, based off the CDC, approximately 74% of U.S. adults are overweight, and this is including people that are obese between 2017 and March 2020. So what does that tell you? Even though it's a little, you could consider that slightly outdated, 2/3 of the population is already, good afternoon, is that a cat in the corner? Yes, it is. That is Chowder sleeping. So just having that statistic, it tells you that the moment basically you walk into any type of social gathering, whether it's a bar, a club, a rave, going to start wherever you go, okay? Wherever you go, excluding the gyms sometimes, right? But let's just put it like this. Most people are going to be very average. In other words, 2/3 of the population are going to be overweight or, including obesity. So, and the hardest thing is for guys, and I have to break it to you guys, where men can only achieve greatness through consistent action. And that's the only way that you could become great. We build our value based off the time and consistency that we put on to whatever the things that we choose to do. So we have to put in constant effort and constant action. And it's something to be earned. So if you just, an example, okay, these are some examples. If you just ate a little bit better, imagine single ingredient foods that's not processed, going to the gym regularly, eating a good amount of protein, right? 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if you're 100, to make math simple, if you weigh 100 pounds, okay, you need at least 80 grams of protein. That's like the minimum requirement in order to still consistently build muscle, assuming that you're at a caloric surplus. But anyways, that's besides the point. It's just an example. You just ate better. You took yourself a little bit more seriously. Have a good skincare routine. Dress nicely. Well groomed. Like all this. Getting good amount of sleep. Taking care of your body. Just taking care of yourself. It shows that you take care of yourself, and that's a good thing. And you're doing this for yourself, not for other people, right? So that in itself, it's attractive, but that's not gonna be like the deal, to make it or break it. Like if a lady sees that, they'd be like, damn, this person kind of puts himself together pretty nicely. It's like, well, what else does he have, right? And that comes from constant action. So number 2 is avoid the chase and pursue from desire. So chasing a woman, chasing is when you're desperate for validation. Pursuing from desire is different. It's when you genuinely want this person or you want her, but you're not willing to bend over backwards to try to get her. You're inviting her into your already built type of world. And that balance is what makes you more magnetic. Think of a pulling type of energy, because it comes from a place of strength, not neediness. Now, women have a very, very strong sense when a man is chasing out of desperation versus pursuing from a place of desire. So back to what Delinquent was saying earlier. When I was in a group during the pandemic, because I learned to communicate with people is the key thing is communication. It is, absolutely. Absolutely. And just being able to speak to people and communicate, network. And I'll talk about networking a little bit differently too later, but when you're in this place, when you're pursuing from a place of desire versus chasing from a place of neediness, the biggest difference is that, look, I don't really need this, but I would like to see who you are as a person. You kind of like on the fence on this. What does this person provide? What kind of beauty does this person have besides just a nice face, a nice smile? Like, what else do they possess? And you're vetting them to see if they are a good suitor for you. And that's the important thing. Yeah, he's been a little quiet lately, but I think he's, everybody needs their own quiet time, so I don't blame him for that. So anyways, chasing. Okay, so chasing screams desperation. It constantly texting, over investing, seeking validations, and woman wants a man who knows who he is who he knows who he is and goes after what he wants. Not someone who's waiting on her approval, so he knows where he stands with her. And because that's very, very weak behavior. It's very beta-like. It's very feminine, and a feminine woman would not want a guy like that. Chasing after the right price. I hope so. I hope he's doing well. Been a little quiet, but like I said, everybody needs their own time, and when they want their own time, you let them have it. And then when they want your time back, they will come out. They'll come back to you. They always do. And so, let's see. So, not waiting on her approval so that you know where you stand with her, because that's weak behavior. This means that when you have to lead your own life first, and you have to be confident enough to know that if she doesn't want to follow your lead, eventually another person will. And so pursuing from a place of desire is intentional. It's something that you put out. It's about genuinely wanting someone, but not needing them to feel whole for yourself. So it's not that, oh, you complete me. It's not that. You're there to share each other's completeness. So if you take care of yourself, I'll take care of me for you, and you take care of you for me. And that's the beauty of that. Jim Rohn. So pursuing is about going for what you want and being able to see if they're going to reciprocate. And a lot of guys actually, they get too caught up in their emotions, and then they start projecting how they feel about her and ignore how she feels about him. And to me, that's just being delusional, right? So basically, you just extend an invitation out to her. She gets to choose whether or not she is interested or she wants to be in it or not. And if she does, great. And if she doesn't, it's okay, then hope she finds what she's really looking for. Don't be petty about it. Don't be passive aggressive, because either way, you're not going to be emotionally wrapped up in it. She's either in or she's out, but allow her to choose. Okay. It's always better when it's her choice. An example is if a man, right? Like what I was saying earlier, if a man goes up to a woman and asks her out once with confidence, and if she doesn't, he can move on if she's not interested. And that type of energy is kind of like, well, it shows strength that you're able to walk away and be like, well, oh, okay, well, have a great day. If she says, oh, I have a boyfriend, or I'm not interested, or, I'm busy or whatever, and she doesn't give you like some sort of counter offer, or you go and ask for a number and she's like, I'm not interested, you'd be like, yeah, okay, well, have a great day. That's it. Keep it simple. Don't be petty. Don't be upset. And you're willing to walk away, because that ability to being able to walk away and not be bothered or stifled, it shows strength. It shows abundance, and you know it, not scarcity. We get on a phone. Wait, if and I wait, hold on. Get on phone number. Wait, if we get the phone number of each other speaking, someone you like, don't put pressure on texting. So another thing is, wait, hold on, I'm getting a little confused from your text. You like, don't put pressure on texting and calling time. Give them some time for her wrist upon. Well, the phone is for setting dates. The phone is for setting dates. Okay. So I wouldn't use it too much to try to get to know each other. That is unless you're in a different side of the world or whatever, then there has to be some sort of communication. anyways, let's move on. All right. So I believe there's number 3. Yeah, it's number 3. Okay, so slide number 3 is finding out what you enjoy. Finding out what you enjoy. Now, a man with no direction in life drifts. And drifting makes you it makes you forgettable. It's just like, oh, okay, what's this person's name again? It makes you forgettable. And if you don't want that, and if you don't know what you want in life, then it really doesn't matter where you go or what you do, because any road that you take will get you there. And so that's why I always suggest for guys having a purpose. And if you don't have a purpose, well, write down some of the things that you enjoy, or at least do some of the things that you do enjoy, and see what kind of moves you, what's compelling to you, what's emotionally compelling to have you continue to do it for a very, very long period of time. Because having a purpose, right? Now, purpose doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be like, oh, you're saving the world. It could be creating something. It could be building, competing, solving problems. Like, basically, you want to think about leaning into the things that excites you the most, because that's what builds momentum. And momentum is very magnetic. And momentum is what makes the process even more enjoyable. So now, men who stands out, they don't just drift in life. They know what lights them up inside out. Whether it's your career, like I said, your hobby, your mission, a sense of purpose, all that is very powerful. And the beautiful thing about that is, the byproduct of that is, women will notice that. They will notice the things that you enjoy. They see it. Okay, they know it. They sense it. It's like, wow, this person's really, really passionate about this one thing. Like currently right now, as of now, September 13th, 2025, an example is, I was looking at a dance, and it's a choreography that, it was one thing that excited me the most. And my girl, she's like, I've never, what do you say? I've never heard any, like, this is the one thing that, the one song that I heard you listen to the most. It's like on repeat. And the reason why is because it's constantly playing in my head. Like, I'm obsessed to a point where she's calling me this fanboy, which I'm not. Maybe I am. I don't know. But I'm obsessing over it. It's something that I'm like, I need to learn. That's it. And she sees the excitement that I have for it. And to her, she's like, wow, this is something that really excites him. And this is me leading my own life. Like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to learn this thing. I want to learn this dance because it's fun. And I want to see myself grow and see if I could do it just like how I saw it. I don't want to give it away. That's what I'm saying, right? But I want to be able to perform this at the level that I've seen it. And so that's something that I'm excited about too. So it's like, they see that. Women see these type of things. And when you're excited about your own life, they get to feel like, damn, like this person has a sense of purpose, has a sense of direction. This is where they want to go. And it keeps things a little spicy too, right? So it's like, wow, okay, this is kind of nice. And instead of just, coming home after work, lounging, just watching a movie. Like, I'm not saying that none of those things, like, you can't do those. Just don't do it as much. Figure out what you want for yourself and do more, create more, and consume a little bit less. So that is how you're going to be able to stand out. And men who stands out, they, like I said, they don't just drift. They don't drift in life. They don't just exist. They have a sense of direction, because that signals leadership, stability, and passion. And then if you think about it like this, purpose, like my purpose is to help other guys become better so that they don't feel like they need a struggle out there. And there's hope. There's hope out there. And when you build yourself up, it becomes like this pulling type of energy. It's like gravity. It pulls people in even without you trying. Now, a man with purpose is a man of direction. What's up, Mario? A man of purpose is a man of direction. If you have your eyes set on something, you're like, this thing that I'm going to achieve no matter what, whether it's today or the next 10 or 20 years. Imagine this. Imagine what you could achieve in 10 years while most people kind of drift or exist in life, while you move with a purpose and intent. Because if you think about this perspective, most people overestimate what they could do in a year, but underestimate what they could do in 10. And so you have to really find something that's emotionally compelling so that it's consistent, it lasts long. And dancing is one of them. Being able to help other guys achieve what they want, even if it's just one person listening to this. Like, to me, that's if I could just move one life, to me that's already great. More the better, obviously, but that's my sense of purpose. And so also want to have you guys consider this as well. Time is going to move forward regardless of whether you do something or you don't. Why not have it move towards something great, something like building yourself? And so my fourth slide is, don't let material things define you. And I would like to preface or say that nice things aren't bad. Okay, nice things aren't bad. I like collecting shoes, something that I've always enjoyed. I like Pokemon. To me, those are nice things. Before it wasn't, okay? But, these are like certain nice things that I like for myself. But if your identity is built on them, you're standing on very unstable ground, very shaky ground, because there will always be someone with a bigger house or, nicer cars or nicer shoes, flashier car, nicer looking watch, whatever it may be. You just can't let that define who you are as a person. Like, you can't have your identity be wrapped up onto your material things, because real attraction comes from your character, your discipline, your courage, your integrity. And so real masculinity is in your character, not in the possessions. And when you're solid without all the extra stuff, the material things, everything else just becomes a bonus. And I've seen it way too many times where men use their material possessions to make themselves try to look good, to try to stand out. I don't know if people still go to clubs anymore, but at the time they were, trying to have the nicest watch or the most elegant looking shoes or whatever to try to stand out. And, most of the time it kind of fails on them, because even though he gets the girl to, even though he approaches the girl, or maybe she finds him attractive and she goes and talks to him, which is rare, he doesn't know what to say because he's not used to it. He's just like, well, this is who you're just putting something, like the clothes is wearing that person. The clothes is wearing the person, not the other way around. So it's like they rely too much on these material things to make themselves feel good. So what happens when those are gone? What happens when those are gone? And a question I would like to ask you guys is, imagine everything that you own disappeared right now, snap of a finger. The only thing that you have is the clothes on your back and the pants that you're wearing. Hope everybody's wearing pants, okay? Because you just have your clothes and that's it, and one pair of shoes, okay? And that's all you got. Everything else disappeared. How able are you to get everything back? And are you confident that you could get everything back? And if you can't answer that honestly and be like, yeah, yes, I can, then there's something that you got to be working on. And so, like I said, you know, a lot of guys, they spend too much time thinking like, oh, this will make me look better. Nice watch. You need to have a nice watch in order for girls to think that you're rich. It's like, I'm like, I don't even want to wear a watch around you. And so, like I said, whether it might be clothes, watch, whatever it may be, they rely too much on that to make them feel valuable rather than working on themselves. That's one thing that no one could ever take away from you. Working on yourself. They can't take that away from you. Educating yourself, right? Learning how to become more social. Working on your own physical body. Reading a book. Educating, right? Because then if you're interested on the things that you want to learn, you're going to become better at it. And then when you come across somebody that has similar things that you like, guess what? You guys are going to just be talking about like growth, and people who like the same things tend to like each other. And so now men, they have to, it's a must. Men must work on themselves in order to become more valuable. You just have to work on yourself. Okay. And I know it firsthand because growing up, I always felt like I was kind of behind. And I'm talking about high school ish, right? As I was getting a little bit older to like my early 20s. And even then I felt behind because I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do. And this is during the time when like my friends started like from high school, they knew exactly what they wanted to do in college. They graduated, you know, and then like in the mid 20s, they started having families. And I'm like, I don't even know what major I want, you know, like, can you imagine being in your mid 20s, mid to kind of late 20s and still thinking about like, shit, I honestly don't know what I want to do. And that's where I felt. I did not know what I wanted to do. And, you know, success at the time felt really out of reach. And I didn't know exactly what I wanted. And, you know, success to me is very different from what other people might see success as. To me, success is being able to do the things that I love, that I could lean on, where I could grow and I could become better. And then money and, you know, my financial just becomes a byproduct of that. Whereas, you know, to some people, success is like, well, I need to make a lot of money. And by all means, you know, if that's what you want. But to me, success is being able to live the life that I want. And money and everything else just becomes a byproduct of that. And so, like I said, success felt out of reach for me because I really didn't know what I wanted to do. But then, you know, I had to say to myself, I was like, well, if I just kept going, and I didn't have anybody at the time. I was like, well, this is what people did. If they wanted to be healthy, they start going to the gym. What do people eat when they go to the gym? Like, what's the certain type of food? And, you know, this is like before all this whole studies of like, oh, you should eat this and eat that, right? Protein. We all knew that, but just not really knowing, I felt very unsuccessful. I felt like success was very out of reach. But I said to myself, I was like, if I don't stop, that eventually I will get somewhere one day. And that beauty of that was the process, the whole process of being able to build my body. I'm late 30s right now. In my late 30s, I feel great. Most people in my class, when they graduated, that I've seen, they stopped taking care of themselves. I mean, just look at people in their 30s right now, right? Or even 40s, 50s. They stop taking care of their body. They're not very happy. They never designed the life that they wanted to live. And so there are some certain consequences when you don't do that. So, you know, I hope this made sense for you guys. Let's talk about a basic summary of what makes a real man stand out in this crowded world, right? It's not the noise, not the chase, it's not the labels that's on your back. It's about that strength that you have, the quiet strength, where someone has to work towards, that achieves, who knows his own desires, what he wants, who lives with a purpose, and who is not defined by what's in their bank account or in their pockets, but by what's in their own character of who they are. And if you guys did enjoy this video content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe for more videos or more live videos like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next live. Peace.